Hello and very warm welcome to RefLimps. This is Farooq Hossain. In this hands-on video tutorial, we will learn about databases. But before we move on, let us understand what is data. Information about any object is data. Consider you are an object and information related to you is data. Your name, your age, your height, your weight, and all such information related to you is actually data about you. And an object can also be a data. For example, an image, a file, a card, a book, or PDF version of that book, we can say they all are data. Now let us talk about database. A database is a systematically organized collection of data. For example, a catalog, because it is systematically organized collection of different records to different holdings. Either it's card catalog or maybe book catalog or maybe automated catalog on any computer system, whatever it is, but it is a database. A phone directory, of course, a systematically organized collection of individual names and their phone numbers, or different types of collections, such as book on a particular subject, or multiple subjects, or videos, or the collection of audios. All such collection, those are systematically organized, are actually databases. Now, here we have a question. A database may be manual, but typically it is stored in electronic format in a computer system. So a database support electronic storage and manipulation of data like an electronic directory, an automated catalog, a digital collection of books, journals, articles, videos. So we can say the databases are actually supports electronic format or electronic storage. Now, in every field of life, from a wheel to rocket, databases are essential because they make data management easy. I'm not saying rocket is actually the limit of technology. Technology is beyond that, but at some level, we can say space is actually where we are trying to move forward. But there's a question, how to control a database? To control a database, we need hardware, we need software, we need data, data itself, we need language, and we need procedure. All together, we call them DBMS, Database Management System. A database is usually controlled by a database management system, where we can say hardware is the most essential component of DBMS. By hardware, we mean a physical device such as a computer server, virtual machine, it can be virtual machine, or the cloud system, and of course the software. Software is a set of programs or applications used to manage and control the overall database. For example, an operating system, networking, databases application, and all such supporting programs and applications. Data itself, data usually contain raw and disorganized facts, observation, perceptions, numbers, characters, symbols, images, objects, and lots more information. And from unorganized data is proceed and transform into meaningful information. So what we do through some procedure, we actually transfer raw and unorganized data into meaningful information. And here we need some procedures, we need some set of rules and instructions that helps us to use the DBMS. Language, of course, we need scripting language that controls the queries and access to the database in the shape of commands. Most databases use a structured query language. We call it SQL or SQL for writing and querying data. In computing, there are many types of databases, but mainly we have relational databases, object oriented databases, distributed databases, data warehouse, and NoSQL databases. So, the traditional one is actually relational database. We all know by relational database we mean data is organized in a set of tables having columns and rows. Maybe you have seen Excel spreadsheet where we have tables and rows, but Excel is not actually the database management system. It's one of the file management system. But when we relate one file to another file, we can say yes, it is some sort of relational database. For example, at a very least point, we can say Microsoft Access. It's some sort of relational databases when where we actually link one, we create relationship between one file to another file. Okay, and object oriented databases, information in an object oriented database is represented in the form of objects. As I said earlier, distributed databases are actually not available on one site or one computer. They are distributed at several places. So, and database warehouse is just opposite to distributed databases, a central repository of data uh, for fastest query and the analysis. And NoSQL is just opposite to relational databases where we can see non-relational database that allows unstructured or semi-structured data to store and manipulate. Okay, now here we have few more types, and maybe you have seen open source databases, cloud databases, multi-model databases, document or JSON databases, self-driving databases. So let me talk about open source databases. Most of the people understand by open source databases we mean freeware. Freeware is something, some application that we can install, that we can download and install, but we cannot actually change it because sources are not open as compared to open source databases where sources are open. So we can change, we can modify database as per our need. Here, let us understand with an example. For example, just an example, I install Adobe Acrobat for my PDF file, and if I try to change the logo, I cannot change the logo. Whereas I install Koha or the DSpace, I can change the logo, even I can change the whole system as per my need, because sources are open, and the cloud databases are not physically exist on a server machine. I mean, in front of you, they must be exist somewhere, but not physically available at your end, and you have to access to that computer or that computer machine or server machine through the internet. So, a least example of cloud databases, your Google Drive, your OneDrive, and so other things. And multi-model databases, combination of different types of databases models. So this is actually the integrated version of different databases models. Document JSON databases very close to library databases, designed for sorting, storing, retrieving, and the management of document oriented information. Document databases are a modern the way to store data in JSON format rather than rows and columns. Self-driving databases, this is also the newest and the most groundbreaking type of database. Self-driving databases are cloud-based and use machine learning to automate database. Okay, so far we have discussed the type of databases in computing, and now let us see in information management. A database is a tertiary source of information that contains both primary and secondary sources of information. We all know what are the primary, secondary, and tertiary sources of information, but a database itself, a tertiary source of information that has the records or that has the holdings of primary or secondary record. The databases. So let us see in more detail. There are three types of databases in information management: full text databases, metadata databases, or the multimedia databases. Full text databases contain full text document in both born digital or digitized format. Born digital actually generated or created in digital format. For example, EPUB file, for example, PDF file, for example, document file, or a digital photo file, whatever it is, but it is born digital. And then digitized format from print, we have actually scan it and make it digital. So we have to understand the full text databases basically contain full text document in both born digital or the digitized format, and they provide access, maybe close access, maybe open access, whatever the access type, but they are contained of two types of document. Okay, the full text document. If you want to learn more about the digital library system, so you can watch the video in the description of this video or on the I button as well. So let's move on. Metadata, in simple words, metadata is the information that search and retrieve the full text and multimedia resources. It is provided on every database in the shape of a simple or advanced search engine. But the search engine is not actually metadata. The metadata is the information, is the keywords or the tags we actually put, or the bibliographic cataloging or the subjective cataloging, whatever it is, actually the metadata. So there are two types of cataloging. One is descriptive cataloging, where we write the title, where we write the author, where we write the physical description, where we write the imprint area, or whatever the information in 7 areas. If you remember the cataloging of ACR2, so there are 7 areas of cataloging. Whatever the information we put there is actually descriptive cataloging. And then we have subjective cataloging, the access point, the call number, or the URL or the subject headings or whatever it is. So, whatever the information we put behind the search engine is actually the metadata information. Maybe I have cleared this concept. If you want to learn more about metadata or the concepts of cataloging, so there's also a video available in the description of this video and also on iBotan. And multimedia resources, of course, the collection of audio visual resources. And here we have to understand the closed access or open access databases. See, in information management, the access is one of the challenge. So closed access databases are actually where we need to pay some license fee. Okay, so to get the access to that particular database, or I mean the particular information or journal articles or whatever it is, whereas open access databases are free and easily accessible, so you can easily use them. So let us move to my web browser. I'll show you few example what I said in previous slides. So, and about, of course, about the closed and the open access databases. Okay, so let me open gestor.org. This is one of the closed access database. We need to subscribe this database to have the access to full text. So here's the database, and there you can see, you can search books, I mean the journals, books, images, and the primary sources. Also, you can search images. There you can see this is the basic search engine and the advanced search engine, where you can limit your query. See, through the fields. Fields are most important to limit your query. Remember, I'm not teaching you how you can search a database. You know very well, but field is most important, and you can add more box here. And okay, now let us perform one search. Let me go to basic search engine, and there I write educational leadership, and you can see the number of records available. And whatever I put here, educational leadership, this is actually the metadata. You understand this? These two words actually metadata, not this search engine, but these two words actually metadata. They may be the title of the article, maybe the title of journal, maybe somewhere in journal, I mean the article, maybe on the abstract, or whatever, wherever it is available, it has search. So whereas in advanced search I can limit this query. Okay, I can say educational leadership, and I need as item title, I want these two words in title, and I need from articles, I need English language. I can also provide the date from where to where I need. For example, I need from 2000 to 2022, and further I can limit, but let us go and see. See, there are 52 result now, but still I try to read this article, for example. So this is a preview. I need to log in here. I need to subscribe this database. When I try to get the full article, so it's asking me to log in with the institution, or I need to subscribe this, or I can get alternative access option. Whatever it is, I have to pay some amount. Whereas open source database, I mean open access database, there's also different between open source and open access database. Open source are actually available to modification, whereas open access, you can easily access all such information and you can download. So open access usually contain with information retrieval databases or information searching databases. Okay. For example, Dodge. You know, of course, you know about Dodge. Dodge is a directory of open access uh, journals, and there you can similar search. For example, title. There you put some metadata as the title. See, 189. And when you try to read any article, for example, this one, you have the access here. And you can download this even. Internet is a little slow right now, but let me show you. Let us try to download. See, start downloading. Twice. Okay. Because I press it twice. Or any other journal article, so you can have them. So they all are freely available and you can access the full text. From the metadata, see, from the metadata to full text here, see, okay. And multimedia resources, of course, you know very well the multimedia resources, the audiovisual resources. A very famous example of audiovisual resources is the YouTube, the second most visited website. Multimedia resources mostly used in medical sciences. So we and another thing that is important here, let me show you some other databases. For example, directory of open access book, where you can find the open access book and you can download easily. And Project Gutenberg, they all are actually important. And the license databases, there you can find 60,000 free ebooks. You can find number of ebooks 62,500 academic peer reviewed books. So all are free and you can actually enjoy uh, all such books and information. So far we have discussed the, I'm not telling you how you can actually search the database, but our concern is to talk about the databases in computing or in information management. So, thank you very much for watching Raflims. This is Farooq Hussain. We have learned about databases in computing. We have learned different types of databases, and we have discussed the uh, databases in information management as well. If you have any suggestion or any comment, please write in the comment section. And thank you very much for watching Raflims. This is Farooq Hussain. Keep watching Raflims and take care yourself.